So another long-term challenge, and certainly NATO addressed it for the first time in this summit, and I know that you're also working on this, is China. They actually mentioned China as a strategic challenge. They haven't in the past in their strategic doctrines, but they have now. And, you know, as we know, U.S. administrations famously talk about pivoting to China and trying to deal with it. You're trying to help reform, whatever word you use, the U.S. Air Force to meet the challenge in the Pacific by China. Tell us about that.
Well, sure. And part of this is based on, again, my experience. Before I became the Chief of Staff of the Air Force almost 2 years ago, I was Commander of Pacific Air Forces. And I'd already spent a little bit of time in the Indo-Pacific with 2 assignments to Korea. But I really started to think about, what we have not been paying attention to as closely within the Indo-Pacific. And because of that, one of the things I've tried to do as I've come into my position, I wrote my strategic approach to accelerate, change, or lose, because I knew some things we needed to change. At the same time, one of the action orders I have is on competition. And that action order is really focused on how do we better and deepen our understanding of the geostrategic environment, particularly in the Indo-Pacific and with the People's Republic of China as our pacing challenge. And so that's been my focus area as the chief. And really, it's really raising our awareness, understanding the threat, understanding the impact, and not only how we as a military participate in our national security, but it's all other parts of our interagency with our allies and partners and how all that comes together. So it's really it's a campaign of learning is what I would call it. And it's something that we're going to continue on as long as I'm sit here as the chief. And I think ideally we'll continue that well after I'm gone as well.
You know, you just used a specific term. I think you said accelerate, change, or lose. And I think that's really a mind concentrator, the concept of a possible loss. So can you give us a specific of how you intend to be more successful currently than, I guess, previous administrations, all of which have said they want to meet the challenge from China, which seems simply to be getting stronger and more dominant?
Well, part of this is you think about what's happened for the United States and the United States military. We've been focused in the Middle East for the past, and some people say 20 years, but for the United States Air Force, I say over 30 years, going back to Desert Shield, Desert Storm. And because of that, then we've really got to start changing our focus to what is our long-term pacing challenge. And if we don't pay attention or let this happen very insidiously, then my concern is we will wake up one day and be in a position where we're not in a position we want to be in, and there is potential to lose. And that's a real possibility. But that's my focus as the Chief of Staff, to make sure we're organized, trained, and equipped, along with our joint partners here in the United States military and with our allies and partners, that we focus on that threat so we can preserve the rules-based international order that we've all known well since the end of World War II.